Good morning guys, and welcome to Storyteller's Corner for Monday the 29th of June. We've got a couple of little visitors here, Mrs. Toffee and Mrs. Snowman down there. Two little visitors in the Storyteller's Corner. Hello guys, this is we're catching up with our story Between Duty and Desire, a tale of a chauffeur and a lady Caroline, his mistress, in Victorian England. It's a romantic scandal. So let's read on, guys. This is chapter 25, a proposal and a promise. So Caroline slept very little that night. The revelation of a marriage proposal lingered in her thoughts long after the lamps had been extinguished. A solution, that's how society would see it. A suitable husband, a respectable name, a swift engagement, and a quiet end to an embarrassing rumour. Everything restored, everything repaired, everything buried. Yet, the more Caroline considered it, the more she realised something astonishing. She was no longer frightened of losing a future she had never chosen. She was frightened of being forced back into it. The following morning, her uncle requested her presence in the study. Not asked, requested. The distinction mattered. When Caroline entered, she immediately understood why. Lord Ashford was present. So was her aunt. And resting neatly upon the desk was a letter bearing an impressive seal. The atmosphere was solemn, deliberate, and prepared. Her uncle gestured towards a chair. "Please sit." Caroline remained standing. The reaction did not go unnoticed. Lord Ashford exchanged a glance with her uncle. A silent acknowledgement that obedient young woman he once knew was becoming increasingly difficult to manage. "Very well," her uncle said quietly. "You know there has been interest?" Caroline folded her hands calmly. "Yes. Lord Wren informed me." Ashford frowned slightly at that. Her uncle continued. "A proposal has been made." There it was, spoken aloud, real. From whom? Lord Henry Pembroke. Caroline knew the name. A respectable widower, wealthy, connected, 20 years older than she was. A man nobody would object to. Which was precisely the problem. He wishes to court you formally. Caroline said nothing. His family believed an announcement could be made within the month. The room waited. For years this would have been the moment everyone expected: gratitude, acceptance and duty. Instead, Caroline asked, "And what do I believe?" The silence that followed felt enormous. Her uncle sighed heavily. "Do you believe what you choose to believe?" "Do I?" A dangerous question. Lord Ashford stepped forward. "Lady Caroline, nobody wishes to force you." She looked directly at him. "Then why does this feel like a negotiation?" Ashford had no immediate answer, because she was right. Eventually her aunt spoke. "Idea, this would make everything easier." The tenderness in her voice nearly broke Caroline's aunt, because her aunt genuinely believed it, and perhaps she was correct. A marriage to Lord Henry Pembroke would end the whispers. The invitations would return, the doors would reopen. Society would forgive almost anything if it could be neatly resolved. But forgiveness purchased with surrender no longer appealed to Caroline. "No." The words landed softly, yet it echoed through the room. Her uncle closed his eyes briefly. "Caroline." "No." She met his gaze steadily. "I will not marry someone simply because other people are uncomfortable." Lord Ashford looked away. Her aunt's eyes filled slightly, not with anger but with worry, because everyone in the room suddenly understood. There was no longer youthful stubbornness, it was conviction. Later that afternoon, news reached Thomas, not from Caroline, from Hawthorne. The older man found him in the carriage house again. It seemed every important conversation in his life occurred there now. A proposal has been made. Thomas went completely still. For a moment he simply stared. Then, I see. The words sounded calm, too calm. Hawthorne studied him carefully. You knew this was likely? Yes. And? Thomas looked away, towards the stable doors, towards the grey winter sky beyond. And knowing something is likely does not make it easier. No bitterness, no anger, only honesty. Hawthorne nodded slowly. That is true. A long silence followed. Then Thomas surprised him. She refused. Hawthorne blinked. What? Thomas smiled faintly. A smile filled equally with wonder and fear. She refused. The older man stared. How do you know? Thomas looked towards the house. I know, Lady Caroline. And somehow that answer felt entirely sufficient. That evening Caroline found a folded note waiting among her correspondence. No signature, no seal, only a few carefully written words. The old oak beyond the west garden at dusk. She smiled despite herself, because she recognised her handwriting instantly. For the first time in weeks she felt something other than fear. Anticipation. The winter sun was setting when she reached the old oak tree, a lonely giant standing at the far edge of his estate, far from the house, far from listening ears. Thomas was already there, waiting. The sight of him stole her breath, as it always seemed to now, not because he was extraordinary in appearance, because he had become extraordinary to her. For a moment neither of them spoke. Then Thomas said, You refused? Caroline laughed softly. So everyone knows. No, a faint smile, only me. She stepped closer. Then yes, the fading sunlight caught her face, and for the first time in many days she saw genuine happiness there, brief, fragile and beautiful. You should not have done that. Caroline raised an eyebrow. Why? Because now I have even less reason to be sensible. The honesty made her laugh again. Then silence settled between them. Comfortable this time, until Thomas reached into his coat pocket. His expression changed, growing serious. Caroline. She immediately sensed something important. What is it? Thomas looked at the small folded piece of paper in his hand, then at her. This morning I received confirmation. Confirmation of what? His eyes met hers. An offer. Her stomach tightened. The new position? He nodded. The position Hawthorne had mentioned, the one outside London, the one that would remove him from the scandal entirely. A better salary, a respectable future, and distance, safety. Caroline felt the cold suddenly. When? Thomas hesitated, then quietly. Within 2 weeks. The world seemed to stop, because now the impossible choice was no longer theoretical. It had become real. And standing beneath the old oak tree with twilight gathering around them, both of them understood the same terrifying truth. For the first time since they met, love was no longer asking whether they cared for each other. It was asking what were they willing to sacrifice. So there we go, guys. Join me tomorrow morning, Tuesday, for chapter 26, The Crossroads. It's decision time, crunch time, time to make a decision. So join me tomorrow for that, guys. Chapter 26, The Crossroads. But this evening, come to me, visit with me to our little village of Willowmere, where it is chapter 8, A Light on Lantern Hill. So look forward to that, guys, and take care now. I thank you for joining me in Storyteller's Corner.